Hey everyone, and welcome back to Made to Order a la Orden. I'm Chef Z, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of my absolute favorite dishes, cilantro lime meatballs. It's a Hispanic take on an Italian favorite, and it's a meatball so versatile that you can eat it with rice, a salad, or on a hero. If you want more details on this recipe, feel free to visit my website or look in the description box below for more details and measurements. Now let's get started on making our meatballs. Cilantro lime meatballs are super tasty, and I used to love helping my grandmother make them. For this recipe, you're gonna need some oregano, some soy sauce, some onion powder, and a sprinkle of adobo, some garlic powder, some breadcrumbs, sofrito, and no worries, I'm actually linking the video that I made for you guys down below in the description box so that you have it, some black ground pepper, and some ground beef. And the other thing that you're actually gonna need is gonna be some cilantro and culantro. Even though I call them both recao, that's just what I grew up doing. But if you want to know the difference, culantro is actually pretty flat with spiny little edges. And cilantro is just pretty floury. And if you're in the grocery store, you can very easily mistake this for parsley. I've seen people do that a few times. So my tip for you guys is to just give it a quick whiff and you'll know that you actually have the right thing. So to start off, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take all of your cilantro or your recao, and you're going to want to dice that up very, very finely, being careful, with your fingertips that you don't actually cut yourself. Now, pretty much I eyeballed how much I needed, but at the very end, it's actually going to yield about half a cup. Now that I've actually gotten that really nice and finely chopped, I'm going to add that to my ground beef. And with my ground beef, I typically like to go with about a 85-15 blend or even an 80-20 blend. For today, I'm actually using the 85-15 blend. Okay, so next up we're gonna add half a teaspoon of oregano, a tablespoon of soy sauce, and we have half a tablespoon of onion powder and a sprinkle of adobo, of powder adobo. Now there are different adobos, but I'm creating a video and I'll go into more of those nuances later on. And we have a tablespoon of garlic powder. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon and a half of sofrito. And if you remember from my video with the sofrito, or if you haven't watched it, sofrito, the main ingredient is actually recao or cilantro. So that's a tablespoon. I'm going to add about another half. Listen, there's so much flavor packed in here, you can never put too much. Okay. And then I'm going to put some ground pepper to taste. So if you like it really peppery, go ahead and add a lot. I like mine, a little bit. Really, what the pepper really does more than anything is that it just brings all these flavors together. So now, I was about to skip a step. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a lime and we're going to add it. And I don't have the hand strength to actually squeeze the juice of this, so I like to take a fork and just use that to really help me get those juices out of there. Yeah. And we want to be careful and not add too much lime juice to this because it's just going to make it impossible for your meatballs to stick together. And listen, I've had it happen to me before and it just really, really becomes a disaster. So I'm saving you a disaster. All right, so let me see if I can actually, there we go. Get my fork back to help me get the rest of this juice out. All right. And this already smells so fresh from all the fresh ingredients that we're using with these meatballs. It's gonna be so tasty. Okay, so if you've noticed, we're actually gonna hold off and putting the breadcrumbs, and now we're gonna get our hands dirty and actually start to mix and massage all those flavors. What we wanna do is we wanna really mix that cilantro in there. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So just giving it a few more mix before I go ahead and add the breadcrumbs. Okay, so that's pretty well mixed. And this is about half a cup of breadcrumbs right here. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this in really well. And the reason why we want to add the breadcrumbs is because if we don't add the breadcrumbs, our meatballs are just going to fall apart. So 2 things to remember with these meatballs. We want to limit the amount of liquids that we put in, so the lime juice, and we always want to put in those breadcrumbs. So what I like to do when I'm making my meatballs is that I like to take a spoon, scoop up some meat, and put it in my palm. Now, you can make the meatball any size that you want. The important part is that you make them all the same size so that they all cook evenly. So here we go. So I just kind of like go back and forth like this and then roll them out. And then here we have a nice little meatball. And that's pretty much it. So again, I take the spoon, put some in my palm, put a little bit more so that they're the same size. And then just back and forth just like this, because I'm just still massaging the breadcrumbs and all those seasonings in there. Rolling it around and boom. I'm making the last one right now. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to put all of our meatballs in the refrigerator. And you want to leave it there for about at least an hour. And the reason we're going to leave our meatballs in the refrigerator for an hour is because they'll actually hold their shape a lot better when we pan fry them and brown them on the stove later on. So now that our meatballs have been chilling in the refrigerator for about an hour, they're actually ready to start cooking. And I went ahead and I put about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil into a pan and warmed it on a medium to low flame. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to take our meatballs and we're going to put it into the pan and we're going to pan fry them until they're a nice golden brown color. Then we're going to flip each one occasionally so that they're all evenly browned. And then when we're all done, we're going to take them out, let them rest, and then get started on the sauce where they'll actually finish cooking. So let's get started. First things first, let's put the meatballs in the pan. So now that we've pan fried our meatballs and they're this really nice golden color, we're going to let them rest and do their thing. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to make the sauce where our meatballs are going to finish cooking in. Now, do not worry. This sauce is super easy. I know that there are some marinara sauces out there and tomato sauces that are, trust me, they scare me and I love to cook. So I got you guys covered. What we'll need for the sauce is 1/4 of a cube of a bouillon cube or 1/4 of a teaspoon in powder form, which is how I'm using it today. Even though I do use both form, today I just felt like using the powder form. There's no rhyme or reason to why I chose it. And then we'll also need about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, a cup of water, which is going to break up the tomato paste and give us this really nice sauce. We're going to need some onions, some peppers, and some garlic. Now, do not be bashful with your garlic. If you like garlic the way I like garlic, go ahead and add a ton. I'm adding about 3 or 4 cloves today. stir. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take our bouillon cube and add this as well. Because what this pretty much is this is pretty much chicken stock with some salt in it. So it's going to help our onions and peppers start sweating. I'm actually going to put the flame on this just a little bit higher so that this starts to cook a little bit quicker. Oh, I'm telling you, I love the smell of freshly sauteed onions, peppers, and garlic. It makes the house so aromatic. It's wonderful. I mean, I would actually put this in a candle if I didn't mind my house smelling like food all the time, but, you know, even I need a break. Oh, yeah. Our onions and peppers are nice and soft now, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take our tomato paste and add it to the bunch. Yeah. And now we're also going to give this a quick stir. So we've added the water. I'm going to bring the flame up just a little bit again, because what I want is I want to bring this up to a simmer. And in bringing this up to a simmer, that's when I'll actually add the meatballs. And when I add the meatballs will then finish cooking, and they'll be in there for about an hour to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending how tender and soft the meatball is. So I'm giving this another stir, breaking up the tomato paste. Yeah. Now, I'm making this sauce pretty regular, but I have been known to add a little bit of red pepper flakes and make this a spicy. So if you want like a spicy cilantro lime meatball, you can go ahead and add the pepper flake. But today I just want something really simple. I just want really clean flavor. So I want to feel the lime, I want to feel the cilantro, and I want to feel this really nice fresh sauce that I'm making. So my sauce is actually already simmering. Love my stove, it works super quick. So it's already simmering, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my meatballs to it. So here we go. This is one of my favorite dishes. An hour and a half later, and our meatballs are finally ready to eat. Por fin, porque hay hambre. I'm hungry. As I mentioned before, these meatballs are super versatile, so you can have them with a salad, a gyro, or my personal favorite way, with some rice and avocado. Now, pretty much all that I do is I put the meatball on top of the rice, and I also make sure to get some of that really good sauce that we work so hard to make. All right. I cannot wait to try this. Wow. Qué rico. Guys, thank you so much for watching Made to Order a la Orden. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and also let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like me to make. If you want more details on this recipe, visit my website or look at the description box below. And until next time, I'm Chef Z, y buen provecho.